Wait, what? You saying I can add weight to my rocket and make it go higher? How does that work? That's what I'm going to talk about in this video.
Welcome to Advanced Construction Videos, where we show you how to tackle rocketry, building techniques, and more. On our website, we sell kits, motors, building supplies, and electronics. So come and learn, shop, build, and fly when you visit us at apogeerockets.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Van Milligan from Apogee Components. Today I'd like to talk about a topic called optimum mass. Now, every rocket has an optimum mass where it will fly the highest. To visualize this, think of holding in your hand a ping pong ball and a golf ball. They're about the same size, right? Now imagine you threw both of them. Which one is going to go further? Is it going to be the lightweight ping pong ball or the heavy golf ball? Obviously, it's the golf ball that goes further. But why? Why is it when you add mass, you can actually make it go further? Somewhere between too light and too heavy is what's called the optimum mass. And every rocket has an optimum mass too. And the way we determine it is by running a simulation, see how high it goes, and then we adjust the mass. And if it goes higher or lower, then we need to either increase the weight or decrease the weight to get it to fly higher. Now we can do this easily in a software like RockSim, and that's what I'm going to show you here. So what you see on my screen is the Aspire rocket, which I was just holding in my hand. When we run a simulation, first we're going to load a rocket motor into it. And I'm going to choose, let's say, an F42, and I'm going to make it plugged. So basically, a plugged motor means it has no ejection charge. So its trajectory should go straight up and then just come straight down. I don't care about it coming straight down. I just want to know how high it goes. And by plugging the motor, it makes the simulations run faster. So that's what I'm doing here. Then when you set this up in RockSim, you have to make sure you're comparing apples to apples. And RockSim likes to vary things to try to figure out things like the coefficient of drag. And because of this, in order to compare apples to apples, we need to zero some things out. So first off, I'm going to go to the starting state, and I want to make sure that I'm launched straight up. Okay, so here my launch angle is 0, which means our rocket's going straight up. Next, I want to go over to the launch conditions, and I want to specify no wind, because I don't want wind affecting the trajectory of the rocket. I just want it to go straight up and come straight back down. The next thing that I want to do is, I'm going to cancel out of this, as I want to go here to the mass override tab. Here, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the basic rocket doesn't change at all. So we're going to use a mass override to just lock it in place. To do that, we're going to check this box here, but before we do that, I want to come and find out the current mass of the rocket. I'm going to do that by looking at the 2D side view of the rocket, because down here, it shows you my current mass of the rocket and where the center of gravity is located. So on this screen right here, we'll have a sustainer. Its mass, I'm going to use this down here, 60.78 grams. So I'm going to type that in. And then I want to use this center of gravity, 13.9724 inches. And then I want to check this box here. And so basically it's saying use these values for all the simulations we're going to run. So basically I want to lock that center of gravity in place, because when we start varying the mass, where is that mass going to go? And I want it to go right at this center of gravity. Next, I want to go to the CD override tab. And again, we want to compare apples to apples, and we don't want RockSim to calculate the CD for us, because CD actually varies based on the speed of the rocket. And we're just going to say one CD value. So we're going to use a CD, we're going to start at 0.75. If you don't know what CD to use, that's a good one to start at. And you want to make sure that this box is unchecked to use this value right here. If you check it, it's going to calculate the CD automatically. We want to force in a constant CD. So once we do that, we can launch the rocket. So I'm going to go back here, and I want to see the flight profile. And I just want, oops, I lost my engine when I said cancel. Make sure that all my other things stayed the same. And we're going to see flight profile. Okay, so our rocket is sitting down here, and we're going to just click launch, and it should go straight up and turn around and come straight back down. That's the way we set it up, and we're Down over here, we can see an altitude of this rocket, 2,700 feet approximately. So now it's coming straight down. We're going to cancel out of that, and we'll just see right here on the summary screen how high this rocket went. So it went 2724 feet. So now that's kind of like our baseline. So now we're going to run optimum mass calculation, and this is automated in RockSim. You just go up to the simulation menu and then come down here to predict optimal mass. So when you're doing this, the first thing you can do is just have it automatically calculate the optimal mass, and I'll do that. So we'll check that box and then just say start the simulations, and you can see it's already done. It tells me that my optimal mass is 111 grams, and if I have it at 111 grams, this rocket should reach about 2831 feet. So before, if I move this out of the way, you can see we're at 2724 based on 60 grams. Now this is our optimal mass. So basically, if I add more mass to this rocket, it's going to go higher. I want to plot this graph, and I want to show you this chart here. This is a special chart that shows the mass of the rocket down here and the altitude that it will reach. So at our current mass of like 60 grams, it reaches that 24 feet. And then our optimum mass is way over here at 111 or something grams, and we get up to there. So what's important about this graph is you'll notice that the top of this curve is relatively flat. So if we're off by a few grams on either direction, we're not going to lose much altitude. So basically, we could say anywhere from 100 grams to 120 grams is that optimal mass range for this rocket. And I should also say it depends on the rocket motor. It's only that value for the F-42 rocket motor that we put into it. So I'm going to click OK. This chart, by the way, has a special name. It's called a Malwicki chart. And it's named after Douglas Malwicki, who's the first person that calculated these charts. In the 1970s, they had to do it longhand. Now we can do it with a click of the button in RockSim. Okay, so that was that. You can uncheck this box here. I'm just going to redo it. Again, remember it's 111.3 grams. If we uncheck that box, this selection shows up and we can force it to run simulations for us. So I'm going to start with a mass of 60 grams and I'm going to go up to 300 grams. And let's change the mass increment every 5 grams. So every launch simulation is going to increase the mass 5 grams. We just start the simulations. You can see it's just flying through them really quick. And again, now this time it changed it just a little bit to 112 grams. But when we plot the graph, again, we get that same graph with that nice flat area here up on the top. Okay, so let's do another little experiment. So the next one, let's change our coefficient of drag. Instead of 0.75, let's make it like 0.45 and then just run a simulation. Okay, so by lowering the coefficient of drag on the rocket, what do you think happens? Now, the coefficient of drag, for those that don't know, is kind of a measure of how efficient a rocket is. So the lower the number, the more efficient it is, the more it just slices through the air like a hot knife going through butter. So you want a low coefficient of drag. And when you lower the coefficient of drag, and that's all we did, we went up a little over 1,000 feet. And if we look at the optimal mass, do another prediction of that, and I'm going to just do an auto generate and just start. And you'll notice that now my optimal mass also lowered. So if you use a really high efficient rocket, you're going to want a lower mass of the rocket to go to a higher altitude. So that's the point, is when the coefficient of drag goes down, your optimal mass is going to go down. The next thing we want to do is to change the rocket motor in here. So here we have an F-42, and I'm going to load in a different rocket motor, and I'll show you the difference by changing a rocket. So I'm going to go from an F-42 to an F-10. And again, I'm going to just have it a plugged motor so that it just goes up and comes down. Click OK. We're not changing any of the launch variables except for the rocket motor. And when we launch it, we'll see what we do. So with this motor, now our rocket, it went from 2724 to 4579. So we went up well over 2,000 feet by just changing the rocket motor. But what does that do to the optimal mass? So Previously, we said the optimal mass on the F-42 when the coefficient of drag was 0.75 was about 111 grams. Now all we're changing is the rocket motor inside. When we start the simulations and plot the graph, you'll see that our optimal mass dropped significantly here. In fact, we're having a hard time actually seeing a curve. So when this happens, and I'll explain what's going on over here in a second, but what we want to do is to run the simulations. I'm going to start at 20 grams. I'm going to go up to, let's call it 140 grams, start the simulations, and still coming out with about 35 grams. We'll plot the graph, but what you can see is now this curve is starting to flatten out. And actually, if we extend this a little bit further this way, that optimal mass is probably pretty close, about 35 grams. The point is, when you change the rocket motor, you got to run new optimal mass simulations. When the thrust level of the rocket motor comes down, your optimal mass is also going to come down. So we had an F-42 versus an F-11. So the difference between an F-11 and the F-42 is the average thrust. On the F-42, the average thrust is 42 newtons. On the F-10, the average thrust is 10 newtons. So think of it as how fast you're pushing down or how hard you're pushing down on the accelerator pedal of your car. The higher the number, the more you're pushing down. So the F-42 is going to have a higher liftoff speed than the F-10. The faster you take off, the more weight you have to put into the rocket to get it up to optimal mass. This is where if you stage a rocket, say that you put a booster behind it. Now when it stages, this is going to be going faster. And when we go faster, we can put more weight into it. So if you're doing a two-stage rocket, the optimal mass you predict with just a single stage is actually going to be higher when you do it as a two-stage. So that's kind of an advantage of a two-stage rocket, is you have more leeway, you can put more weight into it. So in a rocket like this, how would I put more weight into it? Well, for this one here, what I would probably do is to put in an electronics bay in the middle. This rocket, when we sell it, is actually split right in the middle and the tubes are joined. But you can put an electronics bay in there with an altimeter or a tracker. And when you're going well over 5,000 feet, you probably want a tracker because it's going to go high. So this one has an altimeter in it and a battery. And this weighs about 38 grams because I just weighed it a little while ago. So now I want to talk about what's going on here at the beginning of this curve, because it took me a while to figure out what was going on. So for this, I'm going to actually change rockets, and I'm going to open up this one right here. I'm going to say no to this. This rocket right here that I'm holding in my hand is one of my competition lightweight rockets that I like building. It's very lightweight. I actually weighed it before I came in, and it weighs 12 grams. And inside is a helicopter. So this is actually a helicopter model, and all up is 12 grams. So what would be the optimal mass on this rocket? I'm going to start by loading an engine in there, and then I'm going to make sure my CD override. I'm going to start out at 0.4 for my coefficient of drag. Mass override, I'm going to set it at 6 grams. As a starting point, well, let's bump it up to 12 grams and then put the center of gravity, I'm not sure what it was. Center of gravity is 11.744. So I'm going to put that as my mass override, 0.744 inches, and then check that box. So we have an A3-6 motor in here. We're going to launch straight up with no wind, and let's see what it does when we launch it. This rocket went 346 feet. So then when we run the optimal mass and generate the mass, and it comes at 9.855, and plot the graph, we get this nice curve right here. And it didn't do what I wanted it to do. But that's a beautiful graph. So at 12 grams, I'm a little bit heavy. So I'm probably down here, but it's only, this is 348, this is 347. So I'm not losing much. I'm losing it's just a couple of feet by being a couple of grams too high. So I'm not too worried about it. And that's the whole point, is look at this curve, find out where your mass is, And you can decide whether or not if it's worth it to spend that extra time to try to remove mass from your rocket. It's easier to add mass, it's harder to remove it. Next, I want to go and try something different. Let's try it at 6 grams like I did before. Run a launch. Okay, again, it's a little bit different. And running the optimal mass, start the simulations, plot the graph. Similar graph. Now it's working fine. Yeah, so basically, I didn't get to show you everything that I wanted to show you, but I wanted to give you a little bit more information here. If you'd like to know more about optimal mass, we've written a newsletter about it. It's Peak of Flight newsletter number 200. And this came out in January of 2008. Physics hasn't changed, so the information is still good. If you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, you really ought to. We're on issue number 649 as I'm making this video today. So we've been making newsletters every 2 weeks. So when you subscribe, you get one free delivered into your inbox. And it's got great information like this topic on optimum mass. And I also wrote a technical publication, and it's technical publication number 15. And it goes more into the math, and it talks about, what is the definition of optimal mass? So you might want to read that as well. When you're running the optimal mass calculations, the location of the center of gravity is going to make a big difference. So if your curves, those Malwicki plots, those nice arcs, if they don't look nice and flat or, nice and smooth, the problem is probably your center of gravity location is too far back. If it's too far back, the rocket is less stable, and it's possible that the rocket is going unstable, and the software is seeing that it's going unstable, and it's giving you just random altitudes. So what you need to do is to force the center of gravity as far forward as possible. So you might put, the starting location of the center of gravity right at the tip of the nose, at the 0 point. I've done that, and that seems to work on a lot of rockets. And if it still doesn't work, what you will have to do is actually use the engine overhang. Typically, the engine overhang is how far out the back end of the rocket the motor hangs. If we hang it out further back, the center of gravity is going to move further back. If we move it forward, we can move the center of gravity forward. And we can actually trick RockSim, and we can actually move that motor all the way here to the tip. So you can use a negative number, and that will force that center of gravity forward. And that will make those Malwicki plots a lot smoother, particularly when you get into the very low mass of the rocket. So this was a very interesting topic. And if you liked what it was, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's our way of reaching out to you and giving you new information that will be useful for you when you're designing your own rockets. If you like RockSim, check it out on our website. We have a free 30-day demo. It will do exactly what you saw here on this video. And my name, again, is Tim Van Milligan. This is the Apogee Rocketry Workshop. May the winds be light, may the skies be blue, and may all your rockets fly straight and true. That was a hard one.